Up next, the Grizzlies taking on the 76ers. For the Grizzlies, it's been a bumpy road as of late. Out of sorts in 4 of the last 5 games. But they are looking to rectify that here tonight. Sixers, Grizzlies, up next. Greetings and best wishes for a happy holiday season from all of us at 2K Sports as we get set for this NBA presentation. With Greg Anthony and Richard Jefferson, this is Kevin Harlan. On the sidelines tonight, Allie LaForce. And a look at the block shot number over the last few seasons for Jaren Jackson.
Unfortunately, his block numbers have been going down the last couple of seasons. Offensive players seem to have figured out ways to get around him to limit his impact.
Now a look at Philadelphia's starting lineup. Maxey out there with Quentin Grimes. Then it's Joel Embiid. Then there's Trendon Watford. And it's George in at the small forward. And for Memphis, the front court is Wells and Jackson. Then there's John Morant. Then it's Brandon Clark. At this point of the season, you can really start, Richard, to feel teams kicking into gear.
Oh, this is about the time when things seem to get rolling. I know I wasn't necessarily a ready out the gate type player. It takes some games to get into your groove.
Now, here's George. Pass to Maxey. Shot clock at 6. That ball's nice speed that time from George.
The number of threes are increasing for Maxey since he entered the league. He is getting more comfortable out there.
Clark, the pass to Jackson. Morant outside. Clark, a screen on Maxey. 6 to shoot, and it's Morant missing. Maxey passes to George. First quarter of play, 1 minute played. 3-pointer. The Grizzlies pull it in.
Shocking that he just bricked that one. The defense got real lucky there.
Out of bounds. Philadelphia takes possession. Now we'll hear from Allie LaForce, and she's got a story for us. An update. Allie?
I was able to talk with the head coach of the Grizzlies. I asked him what he told his guys before going up against Joel Embiid, and he said, quote, I told them to get into him. Always get a hand up and do your best to guard without fouling. Embiid excels at baiting defenders, but we can't afford to give him free points at the line. Back to you guys.
Okay, Allie, thank you. It's George on the wing. Trains the three-pointer.
This is what Paul George does. He looks for any opening on the floor to create opportunities for his team.
Beautiful hit for the layup goes down.
And once he got to the 10, I think he was surprised to find himself that wide open.
Easy possessions like that literally are just a gift. You just dream of them. He'll gladly take those.
Now here's Embiid. Looking at the numbers, he's averaging about 2.5 points a game. To the middle. Morant outside. Here's the 3. It's hauled in by George.
Still very early, but that's not the start they want. 1 for 5 shooting.
Pass to Embiid. It's Clark with the rebound. The Grizzlies have gone just 1 for 5 from the field to start the quarter. Now the Grizzlies are one of 8 remaining teams, Richard, in search of their first NBA championship.
And the closest they've gotten was that grit and grind era when they made it as far as the Western Conference Finals in 2013. But can they get back to that level?
Now, here's Maxey. Last game we saw him score 13. Pass to Embiid. Here's Watford from past the arc. They get it back. And Embiid holds it down.
Love the activity from Embiid, just doing whatever he can to keep plays alive, getting rewarded for it there.
Now Jackson, covered by Watford. Shot from the low block, and Jackson gets it to go.
He's someone opposing defenses have a hard time game planning for.
Wells with the steal. And here in the first quarter, with a little over 3.5 minutes played, Morant outside. Pass to Clark. And the layup's good off the glass.
You gotta know, this is Clark's skill set at this stage of his career. He takes quality shots when he's inside.
Now, here's Maxey. And the points coming for him in big bunches. His average stands at just about 29.5 points a game. Here's Grimes. Pass to Embiid. And it's out of bounds. They say last touch by Jackson.
Great instincts from him to get a hand on that pass and tip it out.
Yeah, I think he was hoping to maybe even get the steal, but I agree. He still got a good outcome.
From deep, George cans it from downtown. George has got 6 points.
You can't lose track of PG. He is a lethal catch-and-shoot option.
Pass to Jackson. The shot's good. The 76ers leading by 3. Maxey kicks to Embiid. 76ers moving the ball around. Here's Grimes. Watford with it. Scoreless thus far. Shoots. And the 76ers tack on 2 more. And the Grizzlies with possession here. And guys, this is the first they're seeing of the 76ers this year.
In their meetings last year, they split the season series. Happens a fair amount between teams from the East and West.
A somewhat surprising split. One team made the playoffs and the other was lottery bound.
Now here's Jackson. A good portion of the scoring has come from him. He averages more than 18 points a game. Now here's Maxey. Outside, George. Grizzlies with the rebound. Defeated by the Wizards in their last game. They'll try to put that one behind them.
And guys, there's really a fine line between being aggressive and being out of control. And that one, they crossed the line.
They never settled in defensively, and it cost them. Give a good player a good look, and you know what the outcome will be.
Back to Maxey. It's up a 3. It's rebounded by Memphis. Clark's got his 4th rebound in this one. That one's good, Morant.
He gets a lot of defensive attention from Morant. He can expect this type of rough scene anytime he takes it inside.
Pass to Embiid. Back to George. 6 on the shot clock. Doesn't go for it. The Grizzlies trailing. Here's Wells. Hasn't made one yet. Morant kicks to Jackson. Clark a screen on Maxey. And Clark slams it in.
Morant's got great understanding of the game. He can move like very few can, and that make him all set.
And timeout called by Nick Nurse. Coach needs a moment to talk things over. Some changes for Philadelphia. Oubre is checked in for George. And it's Edgecombe in for Quentin Grimes. it's Maxey with the ball for the 76ers. They trail by 1. They come into this one following a loss to the Thunder.
Painful to watch, guys. You can see the frustrations mounting, unable to get into any kind of a rhythm whatsoever.
It seemed like any time they strung together a few baskets, they just went ice cold so quickly.
Now, here's Maxey. After the miss from Joel Embiid. It's good. Nice touch there from Maxey.
Looks like it could be a big night for him. Very strong start here in the first quarter.
An easy 2 points on the layup.
They're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Pass to Watford. Philadelphia moving the ball around. Embiid sets the pick for Edgecombe. Down to 5 on the shot clock. For 3, Oubre. Ja Morant with the rebound. For Memphis, they've gone 8 of 14 from the field in the first quarter. Richard the dynamic Ja Morant. He is an absolute fan and broadcaster favorite.
I'm trying to think of a more exciting player than Ja Morant, and I'm coming up short. Ja doesn't just make plays, he makes memories.
And it's the 76ers with the ball, following the score by Memphis. For 3, Oubre. It's rebounded by Memphis. On the arc, hits it from 3-point range. And now a 5-point Memphis lead.
And they don't want to get in a habit of giving him open looks from 3. First quarters feel like not who you want to leave open.
Here's Edgecombe. Real disappointing game for him in that loss to Oklahoma City.
How about dueling from long range, just going at each other?
Take that, he says. I see your 3, and I'll raise you another 3.
Now here's Morant. He's coming off a 22-point game against Washington. And that one's good by Clark.
Yeah, we know Morant. The job is at his best when he's also involving others.
1:58 left here in the opening quarter. And here's Embiid. A 24-point outing in their last game against the Thunder in Oklahoma City. Some solid defense from Clark.
I'd like to see him a bit more efficient. He has not been great this quarter.
And stolen by Maxey. Pass to Embiid. Embiid sets the pick for Oubre. Fires the 3. Another miss for him. Now shooting 1 for 4 from the floor.
And already they've staked out a noticeable advantage in terms of aggression and controlling the backcourt.
And let's go to the sideline. Here's Allen.
Thank you, guys. Joel Embiid over the years has had some tough luck with injuries. He said, I've broken my face twice. I came back early with the risk of losing my vision, broken fingers. I still came back. I wish I was as lucky as others, but that doesn't mean I'm not trying to do whatever it takes to be out there. Guys, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Allie. And here is Wells. Following the 3-pointer by Tyrese Maxey. Jackson. Put on the bucket. Jackson's got 6 points.
Tough cover. Jackson has a ton of post work. He can go over either shoulder or face up.
Watford passes to Maxey. Here's the teardrop. The Grizzlies pull it in.
And give the defense credit. He was met at the rim.
We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And finished off by Morant.
Look at how Morant takes flight. Looks like this man was shot out of the cannon.
The 76ers trail by 5. Now Maxey. 9 points in the game so far. There's 10 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. And he gets the whistle for the 3-second call. Substitution on the field. Here's Spencer. And no luck with that time on the buzzer beater. And that does it for the first quarter. It's the Grizzlies up 5. Live from the FedEx Forum, you're watching 2K Sports. And for those of you just tuning in, the second quarter of action is where we're at right now. And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. Scoring breakdown for Memphis.
Well, they're off to a good start, getting it inside and scoring at close range. Solid fundamentals so far in this one.
And it seems they've also put an emphasis on moving the ball, working to rotate around the defense and find those quality looks.
And so in the game for the 76ers, Edgecombe is out there with Jared McCain. Then there's Kelly Oubre. Then it's George, and it's Drummond in at the 5 spot. Now the 76ers on the break. No one near Edgecombe as he lets it fly. And off there, he misses his first shot of the night.
And gotta like what they've been doing down low in the post.
Spencer, the pass to Caldwell Pope. All good with the triple. And here's George. He'll bring it up for the Philadelphia 76ers. Lets it go from deep. Hits the three-point bomb. George has got 11 points.
Line him up and knock him down. You know PG is good to drill a handful of threes when he steps on the floor.
Caldwell Pope feeling it out of it. To the paint. Stolen by George. Shoots the three. Another three for Philadelphia.
He's found his rhythm from deep, and you can see the confidence.
And of course, it helps space the floor, which gives this offense more room to operate.
Williams with a clean look. And another miss by Memphis. The 76ers have gone.
Nice finish. What a move by PG with the hard finish.
That's a great look at that move from the Connected Cam, sponsored by AT&T. The Grizzlies trail by 3. And the plan going into last season for the Sixers, Richard, was win now around their veterans. But now they have some great younger talent, too.
And with the health of Embiid and Paul George, a change to the younger players is not a bad idea, but it's still a tough decision.
And so the timeout here called by Thomas Isola. He's ready to talk things through with them. As we approach the halfway mark, let's take a look at how everything in the East right now stands. Take a look at the 76ers. They're having a solid season, 5th in the conference and looking to move up.
And for Philadelphia, this hasn't been the breakout season that many were predicting, but they're still very much in the hunt for a high postseason seed, and that will keep them focused here during the season's final stages.
From here on out, it's just about putting in the work. Coming to every game ready to compete and never giving less than your best.
Oubre on the wing. Defended by Aldama. And that one's good. Drummond. And look at how the hustle game has been going for the 76ers.
From the very start of this game, they have been giving the ball handlers trouble, using good pressure to force turnovers and good steals.
And the other thing, I love how they're playing up tonight, getting into ball handlers and forcing some turnovers.
And now we're being joined by our 2K insider, Shams Charania, who's calling in with a good story. Shams, what do you have?
Well, fans becoming very familiar with the term second apron over the last few seasons. Front offices admit the devil is in the details. While it's not exactly a hard cap, teams are showing little willingness to endure the penalties that come with persisting above that second apron threshold.
That is so true. Shams, thank you very much for the report. And you think about the style of Sixers head coach Nick Nurse. Greg, what stands out to you?
He just has a willingness to experiment and adapt. That's a real asset with some of the challenges this roster has faced. And a big part of why this front office brought him in.
And Landale drops both of them. And this Grizzlies organization, Greg, not afraid to innovate.
Yeah, we see that with the offense they've implemented, different from just about any other team in the league. Rather than pick and roll, it's much more dedicated on ball shifts and cutting.
Yeah, that felt like PG was baiting the defenders there. Great use of the pick.
To the inside. And Aldama finds it in.
Those plays can make a difference in a game like this.
Well, you know it's going to fire up, Greg, everybody on that bench.
And you can feel the jolt of energy that he sent through his team. That is a huge boost in a tight game like this.
Now, Wells, Paul George missing from long range. Wells with it. His last outing, he had 8 points. Pass to Aldama. 5 to shoot. 3-pointer. And it's Grimes with the rebound. The 76ers leading by 3. Outside, George. Inside, here's Drummond. Throws it down.
With the ability to make plays from the wing, Paul George is a complete offensive player.
Pass to Landale. Now, Aldama. From outside the arc. Andre Drummond grabs the miss. And the 76ers win possession. They're on a 16-4 run right now. Now, Drummond. Still without a miss. Outside. It's in the tray. And it's an 8-point 76ers lead. And he is home tonight. Getting the little thing once and taking it easily. And again, Memphis, no good.
You almost have to assume he's going to knock those down. He is that.
Again, control for rebound. Puts it to come in. Oubre's got the lead up to 10 now. The 76ers.
That is really good work there on the offensive glass.
And so the time called by Coach Isola. He made the decision on with his guys and took across the bridge. Comes in for Andre Drummond. And Maxey subbed in for Oubre. And so Rand will bring it out for the Memphis Grizzlies. It's a 10-point game. And when this game is done with, they'll be off to Los Angeles, taking on the Lakers. After the first half, 2 teams rep. Now here's the Rand. 6-point hit. And top of the back, no. And here's George for 3. It's rebounded by Memphis. Rand got both shots out tonight. He's got to run. It's Wells from downtown. Good. Rand got assist with the fumble tonight. Wells is doing a good job breaking the line and forces the defense to the line. Down low. There's Embiid. He takes it for the layup off of 39 feet. Embiid's got his second bucket.
They're finding lanes.
In recent seasons, availability has been a problem for John Grant. Where did he get Now here's Wells. He's got his clutch at the screen for Wells. For the best, it is 8 for 13 from the floor.
They're not afraid to let it fly from the three-ball hitter in the second quarter.
Morant against Maxey. To Morant. Back to Wells. Memphis needs to get on the side here.
And even with good coverage defensively, he has confidence to throw the three.
Here's Tesco. Scoring in this one. And wide open. This is the win check. Now Obama. And timeout called by Nick Nurse. He's going to take him in here to get things straightened out. Also making a change. Oubre checked in. Back to red zone. Now Bryant. And beat the screen. Gets this. It's rebounded by Memphis. Now Bryant. One outside. Memphis moving that ball around. One open. Off the mark there with a three-point shot.
They had some box coverage that turned into no coverage.
To the next shoot. A three ball. He doesn't hit that one. Grizzlies through on 6. Now let's take a minute to talk about the fourth shot.
And not
great lead at Philadelphia leading by 4. Pass to Maxey. Now it's gone. It's Embiid. He's covered by Clark. No one in the next phase. Let's it fly. Another is by Philadelphia. And the first Clark is the run. Close to making the defense pay for the last coverage that time. Morant against Maxey. So the wing left. There's Embiid. Really Morant outside. Pass to Clark. Morant outside. A three-pointer, no good.
Even if he didn't go down, he'll take that shot every time.
That's too great. And they double on Embiid. Embiid with a swing on the left. On deep, Maxey. He's good for his fourth bucket of the night. He's shooting 4 of 8.
Let's see, guys, if that triggers another little explosion from a man getting 3 triples in that first quarter.
What's the difference between shot clock and game? Here's Morant. Leading the lane with a 2 by Embiid.
He might get in his head a little bit. Try to get something going, but that's just so disappointing.
Paul George leading the three-point shooting. Down 4 from distance at quarter alone. And Allen LaForce has got something now for us from the floor. Allen, take it away.
Joel, some fireworks early. What's going to be critical to keeping it rolling?
Just keep moving the ball, get stops, and I think the kids just moving the ball, playing together, we can do that, and we got some hot guys, and we got to keep doing that.
Ball movement is key, guys.
Thanks, Allen. Much appreciated. Halftime now, and we'll be back to get the third quarter underway in just a moment.
Welcome one and all. Before we hear Kenny and Shaq's insights on that first half, let's look ahead and check out the upcoming schedule.
And for their matchup with the Mavericks, don't let a lack of focus steal one from them. Overlooking lesser opponents, but that's when they come in and bite.
I overlook all opponents. In terms of what? Height? Confidence? Both? Don't even answer, I know the answer. And turning our attention to the first half of our game tonight, bit of a tough start for the Grizzlies.
Guys, they're laying bricks out there. Shaq, I could read your mind as you were watching that.
I can't say that I was thinking out loud, not on this show.
Pointing out that they're shooting under 30% from three. That's frosty. Thanks for joining us. Now let's pause it to Kevin Harlan for the start of the second half.
Happy to join us. We've got 2 quarters left to go in regulation. You look at all the Grizzlies got. Who's going to do it? Now, Memphis. Jackson's three-point attempt. Here's the screen. Back to the lane. George. Left train. Well, the miss. Grizzlies in 7 to the middle. The Grizzlies. Just right. Memphis. George around. Takes a step back. Oh, good. 11 feet.
He is dropping the temperature in here with that cold.
He just is in his own head. Not much you can do to try and push through it.
Not able to keep the ball out of pain at that interval.
Outside Jackson. Back from Moran. Over 90 feet. Offensive rebound.
All of his athleticism on display there. Work ethic makes him lead people on that offensive back.
Now, here's Maxey. He's got 14. Defense is the first thing that comes to mind. Some urgency from him there. Sure. Outside. Takes it to him. Defense is hopeless against beat on that slam. He's just physical. Outside Jackson. Memphis is moving around. Sends this one for Now, here's Maxey. He's got 14. And he is a screen around. No good. Memphis has gone on to Indiana since the break. Just right. Physical scoring guard. Maxey is at on the inside. Here's Six changes of the lead here.
Intensity is the theme for this.
What's up? That one misses front. And so George will bring it up for Philadelphia. Jackson. Wells is in the corner.
It's almost like he's trying to make things for himself.
Grizzlies with another miss. 76 trailing. Grimes passes to Maxey. Left side, George. Shot from 16, and that's good. For 2. George has got 4 this quarter. He is
Look of it, this one could go right down to the wire.
For Philadelphia, they've gone 5-12. Time call by Nick Nurse. Looking for a breather, maybe adjusting a thing or two. Points for him. Good ball there by Zubis. And the ball on the shot sends it to the line. It goes on Brandon Clark. With weight at 80. In a moment to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from for the Grizzlies. Good inside. It's been a point of emphasis all night long, but I love the business to this team.
And on top of that, they really been dialed in deep. Just dropping triple after triple.
And that one misses. And JoJo and BB. From the 2023 MVP season was hope he can stay healthy because he is truly just an incredible player. Plus, he's pretty far for it, too.
You can tell that they missed at the line. Stick for a while.
Here's Wells. Made 3 assists. And here's Jackson. Yeah, Spencer. 6 on the shot clock. Now here's Clark. 3 off the mark. Now Memphis. He's got 16. Here's George with the lead. George has got 9 points now in the second half.
In front right now because of
Go good. 76ers leading. Outside Memphis. Here's Edgecombe.
Works well there. Not much resistance from the D.
Yeah, just down to a lack
And so the timeout here called by Thomas Isola. He's going to take this chance to talk to his guys. Comes in for Trendon Watford. And Jared McCain subs in for Maxey. And the Grizzlies now trailing by 5-4. Spencer to Landale. Here's Spencer. Here's Morant. 8 points for him. Shot clock at 6. That doesn't go. A chance to take the lead.
Some could say he's strong on offense this year. I think of more. Just can't see this confidence.
He points one quarter and has that terrific basketball instincts on display. We'll get you back to the action after this break. And again, try to show you the process of the game.
Today, big fella here up, down. What a plus it is to have a player who's got this ability.
This is really good test so far. Watching the fourth quarter, we have more short scores. So on the wall for Philadelphia, they've got Edgecombe, Oubre, with their Quentin Grimes. Then it's Jerry McCain, and it's going to be the second position. Oubre able to go. And James Williams is ready for the Grizzlies. Darrell Down to take the lead. Oubre lays it in. Down so far. Here's McCain. Down by Williams. Edgecombe with the steal. And all the other centers on the break. Here's Grimes. Shot the money. Lions has got his first of the game. He's on the board for three. Fourth quarter, outside Williams. To Wendell. And here's Morant. And it's Morant missing.
That's exactly how you have to defend him. He's a guy. Those short ones with the game right now in the balance.
Time called by Coach Isolo. And clearly an important junction. He's going to have some with this team.
Thanks, guys. Memphis had some words for his team over the break. Coach was inspiring message team saying, hey, we can win this game. Believe in yourselves. Battle to the end. Honestly, guys, even I was a bit pumped after hearing this one.
Great work as always, Ellie. Thank you. Here's Spencer. It's a three. Philadelphia grabs the miss. And B got rebound number 13 tonight. Here's Spencer. Now here's Morant. That's all in the 76ers. They've led by as much as 10.
Letting the next guy do the never look.
And another thing they've been doing all game long is
three. It has been a part of their game plan tonight.
In general, JJ, how would you describe Kelly Oubre's value to a franchise?
We know what he brings to the team. He's a versatile player. Adds length. When he's aggressive on the offensive end, his slashing and big hit.
Brendan Rodgers, Jim McCain. The Grizzlies trail by 7. Morant jumps up. Shoot.
Like to see 6 and a half. He's finally starting to come around.
He's going right. Listen. Philadelphia by 7. That's to Watford. Beyond the arc. To the inside. Stolen. Here's Elko. Running the ring. Marking into the lead. That's Elko. Back to Embiid. Here's Grimes. Good on the triple. And it's a 10-point Philadelphia lead.
The man has no heart, and that's poor defense for a team that has a long way to catch up.
Effort like this makes you the game.
I love this figure. He's going to keep up shot. Regardless of this match, that's the kind of player he is.
Catching up on the shooters for Philadelphia. For Embiid. George Jones for Oubre. And Maxey subbed in for Quentin Grimes. And it's for the 76ers. They've only got 5 points in the fourth quarter. Late in the touchdown. And the 76ers lead by 9.
Defense right He doesn't put any Joel Embiid, he's just his 76. Grimes comes in edge go. On the wing, Jackson. Morant against Jackson. And to break that extra streak, here's Clark.
Can't hit that one. Good deep by AB. Grimes with it. Outside Maxey. 6 on the shot clock. This is bucket in 15 shot attempts.
I'll tell you when Maxey gets into his rhythm, he can go.
Kicks to Clark. Outside for Jackson. Memphis moving it around. Great job by the taking that shot towards the miss.
More than that transfer scores. He's and the team
Here's Grimes. Off the mark. The Grizzlies lead by 9 inside. And Bell's got 1 point now.
nice basketball to Derek. That's great breakdown the defense.
Pass to Watford. And beat inside. He's against Clark. Outside. George. Shot from the top of the key. Here's And we have an injury here that does not look good.
Yeah, looks like he's in real pain. Definitely a concern right now.
Look, I'm no doctor. I know that might be a surprise to a lot of people. But look, that looked pretty hard.
From Philadelphia. And here's Morant. Wells in the corner. Pass to Morant. Just 5 to shoot. Jackson from the corner.
This is the idea.
Now, no good. It's Morant. Outside, George.
That's throwback center does almost all of his damage inside.
Great. Oh, yeah. Not missing.
There's 1:54 left to play.
Right there. This is when you know Maxey is feeling it.
Grizzlies lead by 9. Here's Morant. We've got 23 left in the fourth quarter. That's
This has been their strategy throughout the fourth quarter. Let's see how it pans out.
I think we've got it going. Now his range jumpers are pretty equal.
And it's like just playing last bit of this one out. What should be a nice win here for the
starting 5 could have been in so much no reserves this game.
And they the Suns will be nothing less than guaranteed a real win.
And in terms of this season, right, this is going to be
So take first game of the season series. They'll see twice. They're certainly happy to start off with a win.
Watch play. Oh my God. Look at this Haskins confronted Dominic Hand. What a night tonight it was for Paul George.
And this is the game of the game. Yes.
Here's Jets. Following the back by Maxey. Shot at 6. The three doesn't go. And so it's Maxey who brings the ball for 76. Winning this one easy. They came in and took care of business like they were the whole team.
They never rattled at all by the opponent.
So let's go courtside. We're in the fourth. Standing by with our player of the game, Allen.
Thanks so much, Paul. You dialed up the defense this one. What were some of those adjustments?
Well, we started to pressure up. We started to use our hands. Team like that, let them be comfortable. And we're doing a great job just taking away their airspace.
Well, the discomfort showed like to win, guys. Congrats on the win.
Great job for that, Allen. And that'll do it, folks. Along with Greg Anthony, Richard Jefferson, and Alan LaForce, this is Kevin Harlan. Thank you so much for watching tonight's presentation. And as we leave you, let's take a look at our player of the game, Paul George.